Greetings, salutations. It's been a minute. I say that every time because it's actually been longer than a minute. But a minute is like figuratively speaking. It's been longer than a minute. And as always, I did make videos, but I just didn't post them because when I get to the end of these walks, I'll be on some. Well, I'm reading this book. It's called the Joy on Demand book. And it talks about when you get into a state of meditation, ideas start to flow. So when I do these walks, I'm out here in nature walking, and I'm in, these ain't the burbs, but when I'm in nature and all that, and when I get done with the walk, I just feel excited, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I just forget to push the upload and post thing. It's crazy like that. But anyway, last night we had a storm. We have them quite often, but what's crazy is trees are falling down, falling on houses, falling on cars. Last night the power went out, but more to the trees. It feels like the trees are just giving up because I've been here for 3 years since I moved back. I ain't ever seen no trees fall, and I lived here growing up. Ain't seen no trees falling, but now it's like the trees like, the world's gonna end anyway, so I don't even want to do that carbon switch out thing. I'm out. They just dying. It's crazy. That's why I'm on this walk. I want to see I just saw one over there. No, I don't want to see like damage or anything, but it's just interesting to see trees just falling like that. And it's not like a branch. It's like the whole tree is just like, ugh. And these are big trees. Like I'll show you what a tree looks like. I know you know what a tree looks like. I want to show you that they're not like just regular old trees. But yeah, so we're coming up. Hold on, don't hold your breath now. Be like, I want to see this tree. You know what a damn tree looks like. But yeah, like this. They're just regular old trees that seem like they're gonna be here forever, ever. But they don't be here forever. One little rainstorm, and it's not even like the news be like they're gonna have a storm, whatever. But they ain't saying it's a hurricane or anything. Like last week, this tree over here fell on the house. They cut it down. They be quick though. In my area, things just take forever, but I guess you pay. I don't know, but they cut that shit down. But yeah. So it's summertime, right? It's kind of nice. Finally, I'm in a situation where, because last year when summer came, I wasn't working and I ran out of money. I mean, I had some money saved up, but I ran out of money and I had to get a little job, and then school started again. But this year, contract ends, and when the new school year begins, and then there's a contract waiting for me to sign it. So that's kind of cool. I'm not like worried about what's going to happen. I don't know if I told you. I don't think I did because it's been a minute. But said contract, the contract I had before was a long-term sub, which basically means that I'm a sub, Mr. Substitute. Although no one called me a sub because there was no one coming to the school. I was there every day. I think I called off 2 times. And it was not even like, 2 times. And then the other times I wasn't there was school related, like field trips or paid development. So 2 times out of a whole school year. Even my students are like, Mr. Bailey never takes off. He loves. No, that's not the reason. I just don't want to leave my little badass kids with someone else. Because when the times I take off, all hell breaks loose. I come in the classroom and they're like, oh, we're so happy you're back. And the teacher's like, thank God you're back. And I'm like, what the hell? But I was there over the summer. Well, I go there, I was cleaning out the room because there's my room, and then next to my room is another room, which is like a storage room. Our school used to have 2 classes per grade. Now it's 1 class per grade. So it used to be a room, then turned to a storage room. I would use it for like activities or whatever. We had an ice cream party. that didn't last because we don't have AC. So the minute I brought the ice cream from the freezer, that shit melted. But so yeah, it's an empty room, but it's filled with shit. And I'm like, can I throw stuff away that we don't need? And the principal's like, sure. And then I'm like, okay. I go in there and I'm seeing like test scores from 2005. I'm seeing like the, what do you call it? The school rule book from 2015. I'm seeing all different types of principles, and I'm just like throwing that shit away. I got no qualms throwing away shit that we don't need. Some people hoard shit. I mean, I can't say some people. Depending on what it is, people do different things with it. Like when it comes to pictures, I don't throw away pictures. So I end up buying. I had to recently upgrade my iCloud storage from 2 terabytes to 6 terabytes. Crazy, right? I don't throw pictures away. No, sir. But yeah, I wanted the space because for the next school year, we're going to get new science stuff. And we got to put it somewhere. So I thought, why not put it in here? So I spent a couple of days cleaning out. Bless me. Yo, the other day I was talking to someone on the phone, right? And they're like, how comes you didn't say bless you? So I didn't hear you. Then they're waiting for me to say bless you. And I'm like, but I didn't hear you. And it became a thing like, you're not going to say bless me? Like, no, I didn't hear you. And now it's like after the fact, and it became a thing, right? Oh, you didn't say it. Like, I'm not going to say it. So then, now, the situation, I was in the store. I was using these as my, like you could talk, use the microphone on it. So anyway, I'm in the store. I didn't hear the person sneeze. And then I sneeze. And they didn't hear it. And they didn't say, bless you. And it's just like, what's the big deal? Anyway. Now, I might have untrained a little bit because in Japan, at the time I was there, 15 years, it wasn't common for Japanese people to say, bless you, God bless you, or whatever. So you just be sneezing. What you would get is if you sneeze like 80 million times in a row, they might ask you, are you okay? But a 1, 2, 3, ain't nobody care about. So anyway, back to my story. I was cleaning the room, and then I went to the principal's office, the interim principal, because our school has an interim. The other one was pushed out. I think I talked about it before. Anyway, so she's like, hey, come on in, close the door. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I'm working on your contract. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you know, you are a long-term sub, but we're going to change that. I'm like, am I going to be a short-term sub? Am I being demoted? Because my situation is I'm not technically a real teacher. I mean, I am teaching. I did a whole year teaching, and I put the grades in at the end of the year, and the kids more or less learn stuff, but I'm not certified. And in the eye of the world, if you ain't certified, you're not a teacher. So, and then, you know, just a couple students left the school, and I felt it's because their parents wanted their children to be taught by a teacher. So I kind of felt, and oh shit, it's a bluebird? I do this every time. Like, it's a bluebird. Because I don't be seeing birds like, yesterday I saw a red bird, and I was all excited. But, I mean, we're going to jump around. So I was talking to this girl. I say girl, but a woman. And she's like, yeah, on my walk. And then she sends me a list, like she sent me a screenshot of all the birds she saw. And it had all these strange, interesting bird names. I'm like, wow, where the hell do you be walking? A safari? comes to find out, she has an app that it could record the sounds of the birds and then tell you that the birds were in the area. It's not necessary that you're going to see them. I kind of felt, I mean, it's cool, like you hear the and then the app will be like, that's screaming, rhyming. But she ain't see no damn birds. I saw the bluebirds with my own eye. Anyway, so I kind of felt like I'm being demoted because I didn't do a great job. I did the best I could do. I didn't do a good job. So then she's like, yeah, I talked, because we have 2 interim principals. She's like, I was talking to the other principal, and we decided that we're just going to give you a regular contract because we're not looking for any other teachers, because that's basically what a long-term sub position means. When the better person comes to fill the spot, I don't even know what happens. They kick you out. So she's like, yeah, are you okay with that? I didn't do a happy dance. I didn't smile, just processing. What is going on down there? You got some farmers? Female farmers? Let me get my Farmer Joe on. Let me focus. So yeah, I'm now an actual teacher. But again, it's still in this gray area because I'm still not certified. But I think, well, she was saying it, and everyone says it's like, I'm just a good teacher, despite not. And then it gets even more tricky, because I did teach in Japan. I was teaching for the past 15 years in Japan. It's now 18 years. 3 years have passed since I've been in Japan. Time flies, man. But yeah, so teaching and really like just being in the classroom dealing with kids, and then the later half I started to like be the teacher and make lesson plans. And so I do have the foundation. I just don't have like the rubrics. That word comes up a lot. What is the rubric? I don't know what I know here's a test, here's the information, teach it. But yeah, so long story, a little bit longer. That's what we about out here. I'm now contracted as a teacher. Now, what does that mean? The simple act of saying, and they had to push that. It's not like I could have requested it. They had to put it. And they're just like, you're a great teacher. There's passion. And if you've been watching me long enough, or even for like 3 seconds, because you stumbled on it, you can see I got passion. I came out in a green shirt, so I be camouflaged with the background. I got passion. And they said you're taking the necessary steps to get certified. And so yeah, we feel comfortable pushing you forward because we know that you will get the job done. That is like I don't get that a lot since I've been home. Like, a lot of people be shitting on me. A lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I mean family. They'll be like, I don't know what he's doing. It's like, I'm figuring shit out. People were expecting me to get off the plane and become a doctor, which is not even in my, like, expecting me to jump off the plane and like become a professor at Harvard. I might be smart, but there are smarter people. But this path, I didn't plan it out. I'm not in 4 years I'll be here. That's never been my thing. But I did feel I needed to work at some school so I can transition Japan to here. Now I could go to on my resume and be like, yeah, I taught at a school, and then I have professors or teachers that will write the recommendations. I don't think anybody stateside wants to hear Mrs. Tanaka says that Matthew is they could give a fuck about Tanaka. That's just what I feel. So now I'm at that point where now I got principals who are just like, yeah, Matthew, he gets the job done. He's dependable. He called off 2 times in the whole school year. He had one of the baddest class. Like, I was talking to the principal yesterday, and she's like, I was like, yeah, the 8th grade. And she's like, well, the 8th grade, they were different. And I'm like, yeah. And I had them. I was with them like all year, just teaching science. I didn't have them. They weren't my homeroom, but. And then I was doing the play with the 8th grade. So see, here's another tree that fell. But But yeah, so I was put into like the fire, and I came out the other end. So yeah, so she's like, so your contract, so now you're a teacher. So it feels really good. And when I say people don't believing in me, for the past year and a half, my dad, I was tasked to do things for my dad, like fill out checks and call numbers and whatever. And every time it'd be like, are you sure you did it right? And I'm like, doesn't my track record speak? When it comes to writing check, if you write it wrong, it will bounce, or eventually, whenever the cycle is, be like, it was wrong, it was written wrong, and blah, blah, blah. 2 years, never happened. And the other day I had to take my dad to the bank, because again, I made the phone calls. I mean, in a nutshell, because this just pisses me off. But we have a mortgage. It's in my mom's name. My dad's, like, since she's deceased, I want to take her name off and put my name on, because both of their names are on the deed. I make the phone call. Can it be done? First lady's like, oh yeah, you could do it on the app. I try to make the app. App's not working. I call them up like, the app's not working. Like, oh, you can't do that because only the person can do it. Like, my mom's dead. How's she gonna do that? She's like, oh, da, 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 da. I let it go. I call back again. All right, is there any way to do it? Like, oh yeah, just send an email saying that you want your dad's name on there and it'll be good to go. I send the emails. It's, oh, you can't send an email. It has to be a fax. I'm like annoyed, so I let it go. Then I call back. All right, what's the fax number? Then it's, you can't do that. I'm like, what the hell you mean I can't do that? Now, I don't say hell or anything. I'm just like, someone said I can do it, and I'm trying to do that now. So what's the fax number? I don't know. Phone hangs up. Whoop. I call back. They just hung up on me. No, they didn't. They wouldn't. It goes round and round because I hit the complaint. It's like, oh, they did hang up on you. And we told them not to do that. And then I'm just whatever. Then I come back. All right, so what is the fax number? I fax it. I get a letter saying, no, I get a call saying, yeah, it can't be done. I'm like, you're round and round. And then they're like, all right, we'll give you $25 for your pain and suffering. I'm like, whatever. A check comes from them. The check says, it has my mom's name on it. I call them up like, how am I supposed to check my mom's check? She is dead. That's how I talk now, because it's just be frustrating like that. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. We'll send you another one. Yesterday, I get a letter in the mail. I'm like, okay, finally, they sent it, because it was a thick letter. But the letter said, you're right, Matthew. After we investigated and listened to the phone calls, you did get wrong information. We will send you a check. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Where's my check? I call them up. I said, where's my check? Like, we don't know. There's like musical chairs. Who sent the check? I don't know who sent the check. Then I'm back at the complaints, because that's what they sent me. And I'm complaining to the guy like, I'm just trying to get you to the right place. I said, listen, you're the complaint guy. Let me complain. He's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? He starts raising his voice. I'm like, listen, you are the complaint guy. Da-da-da-da. But, so yeah, I'm doing all this on the back end, trying to make it work for my dad. And finally, it's just like, it's not going to happen. So he's like, can you take me to the bank so I could do this? But it can't be done. This is like a 2-year conversation. So I go to the bank personally. I'm like, listen, this is a situation. My dad is 91. He's Jamaican. This young boy, he must have been like 20 something. Not that saying he ain't qualified, but he's a young boy. So, see, here's another tree that fell. Like, it's crazy, man. So, we pull up, and the guy's like, are you guys here for a loan? I'm like, no, motherfucker, I don't say this. Because it was literally the day before. And he's like, I should have wrote, what are you guys here for? I'm like, I told him yesterday, like, can you just tell my dad that his name cannot be taken off? Period. Because coming from me, it's all, well, blah, blah, blah. But if it's coming from 20-year-old guy behind this desk, it's more palatable. So, I mean, jump cut. So, for the longest time, my dad would say, I don't know what you're doing with your life. This is after I graduated from Temple University. This is 4 or 5 years after I've been living in Japan, holding it down. One winter I come back, and my professor from Temple, I wasn't driving or it was snowing, I forget the reason, but he came down to where we live. It's about an hour and a half drive. He comes down just to visit, and I go upstairs to do something. When I come down, they're talking, and when after that day, my dad's like, "My son, he is a genius with the computer." I'm not a genius with the computer. I know what I know, but coding never, it's hard for me to code. And that includes HTML, CSS, cascading style sheets. I read the books about them. It's hard for me to do. Even little MIDI rolls, if you know that, is a little, I'm more of a big picture, like drop and drag type. But anyway, so it takes another person of stature to get my dad to be like, "I agree with you," which again, it pisses me off. So back to the story. So I'm at school, and the principals are saying, "Yeah, Matthew works hard," or they're telling me, he's like, "You work hard." So what that means is, and I think they did it because it's a loophole, or it was, well, actually, I think they did it because they did it. But in addition to them doing that, it means I can get money to go to school to get my certification. Because as a long-term sub, all I get is like regular benefits. As a contracted teacher, I get the tuition reimbursement and the ability to go to trainings, and I don't know, there's a whole bunch of shit. And it just feels good. And they can kind of just say to the, well, they still got to, I don't know, 2/3 of the parents know who I am and what I am about. The next one, I don't know how they're going to say, "Oh yeah, he's a contracted teacher." And maybe that just, they assume, "Oh, he must be certified." But moving on to certification. Recently, one of the principals, interim principals, like, "Yeah, there's a program at this college that our area, our diocese, gets a deep discount." I'm like, "How much?" Or I don't ask, but the other principal, because they're both in this, she's like, "How much is the discount?" I was like, "I don't know." So then the principal starts calling, "How much is that?" "I don't know." So I'm trying to get a hold, because that's all they told me. So I call them up, and I'm getting answer machines. I'm like, "Hi, I'm interested in your program. I want to know how much it costs. And how much is that deep discount?" I wait a week. I don't get shit. So yesterday I called up, and I'm just like, "I've been trying to reach somebody and nobody knows that." And then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." So then she's telling me, she still doesn't tell me how much, but she forwards my information to the person responsible, and they email me like 3 seconds later. And I have a meeting with them on Monday. But the school's cool, as schools go. So basically, when you go, well, at least in Pennsylvania and this one, when you go to get your teacher's certification, you can't work. That's how it's set up. After you get the certification, then you intern or sub, and then you take the praxis test, blah, 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 blah. Actually, the first school, I'm just going down the list, they said you got to take the praxis test, which is like a SAT, GMAT, LSAT type looking test. And if you don't pass that test, you can't get into the program. Where this one, and it's basically like a general knowledge, which it still might be a little hard for me because I know shit, but I don't know shit. We'll see. But this program's like, you can get into the program, do the program, and within a year, because it's an accelerated year program, you got to take the test. They don't have admission fee. They don't have recommendation. All you need to do is sign up and send your transcripts, which I did yesterday. Since I said I went to school in Japan, they hit me with the, "Please send you speak English score." I'm like, I'm American. So yeah, so what's gonna happen is, hopefully they think I'm just an amazing man and I get into the program, and then The school will give me $2,000 that I ain't got to pay back. Then the super discount on top of that. And then the rest. And I think with this new contract, I should get a little bump in my pay. Because I'm a little nervous to ask. I would like to be surprised when September, I get paid every 2 weeks. So September 14th comes and that paycheck's like, look at all thick. Like, what? But I don't want to ask. But I do want to ask because when we went to the mortgage people and they're like, yeah, you got 7 more months or you got 10 more months on the mortgage. But if you pay $100, it'll knock it down to 9. And if you pay $235 more on top of, whatever, it'll knock it down to 7. But if I'm making like a substantial amount, talking like $1,000 more on my paycheck, then I could just start popping that shit in there. And we could have that paid off by October. I mean, that's only 2 months. But that'd be nice, because that's one thing my dad is just like, he's been saying this lately, which is depressing, but this is how it is in my family. He's like, when I go on vacation, which means when he's dead, every morning, when I go on vacation, make sure, like, and I feel bad. I feel bad because one, I won't say I don't respect the wishes, but as soon as my dad's eyes close, a whole bunch of stuff is just going to happen, which, like, he's worried about the garden. I ain't worried about no garden. He's worried about XYZ. Like, that's not my concern. But I'll cross those bridges. I don't even want to think about it, but I do have to think about it, but I don't want to think about it because I'm living in this moment right here. But, if you ever experience loss, grief, sudden deaths, or deaths that were coming, it's stressful. A lot of just little things. Like the Neo song, had to change my answering machine now that I'm alone. So you could be, I gotta change the mailing address now that you went home. Cause right now it says that you are paying off the phone. But that wouldn't be the case. It'd be me, and I'd turn off all the phones because I use my cell phone. The cable bill, I don't watch TV. If it ain't on Netflix, Hulu, Disney, I don't need to watch it. Because we pay, $300? I don't pay it. My dad pays $300 for cable, telephone, and internet. Now, maybe I might be the most highest user of the internet, but I'm pretty sure I could find a cheaper thing than $300. So stuff like that is what I'll be. But anyway, so I say all that to say all this. So now my new path, while it's narrow, there's a path I came, but this is the path I'm going. You see the visual represent. So normally when I'm talking to people and they be like, wow, you seem so excited. I hate that. It's not that I'm excited. Not that I'm upset. It's just me. Like when it's raining, people are like, oh, anger. But this is just the way it is. It's really hot, then it rains, then it cools. This is the pattern of life, the circle of life, circle of man. But tonight, the Beach Boys are coming to my town. And I was like, yeah, I want to see them. The Beach Boys being like some old ass band. I say old ass, but it's crazy because in hip hop, Nelly's coming. Is it Nelly? It's Ludacris. He's coming out here in my area. And, there's this age of when rappers are a certain age, they're too old to work. They're old school. And it's like, look at the audience. No one's there. They always try to play rappers. But the Beach Boys, they got to be in their 70s. And when I went, first of all, the tickets are $69. That's the cheapest ticket. And when I looked at the site, there was like no seats. That shit is filled. It's a filled to capacity where I would be sitting next to some other people. And then that's the $69. And it goes up to $89. And all those seats are already bought. And it's just like, why do they do hip hop so dirty? I don't know. I don't know. But I wanted to go, but I don't have $69. I have $69, but there's other shit I'd rather buy than go to the concert. But there's a song I love. It's Wouldn't It Be Nice? I don't know if that's the name of the song, but it's Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? And I found it because when I was really interested in learning the piano, I had my moments, but they were saying that this song has a lot of key changes. Well, actually, I was just interested in key changes, and then I came to this guy who was saying that this song has a lot of key changes, and then he was playing on the piano. I was like, and it just touched me. And I guess this might be the reason or the answer to my question. Like hip hop, a few songs be like Mos Def, and then recently the remix, or not the remix, but so Mos Def, Miss Fat Booty. I know I can't afford this night. I remember the first time I heard that instrumental, and I was just like, oh, I loved it. And then I heard the second one, and I was really upset about it because it just sounds like the same thing but with a trap beat to it. But then through the wonders of modern influencer, trend follower, whatever, that stupid dance where you put the thing on the phone on the ceiling and then you start shaking your butt or do other random things, push that button. I was like, I forget his name, but the dude can rap. And then, so that also came into it. So then it's probably, I don't care so much about either two, but the original source, which I believe it's Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle. I don't think it's either of those two. And this is where I should know, but I don't care. I like what I like. But was I going anywhere with this? Oh yeah, $69 tickets, which I just, but yeah, the song touches me, but not a lot of hip hop songs have that quality. I mean, I really believe it's where you were when you heard the song. Like it's like so localized. I always tell the story because it's so true. Like when when Wu-Tang Clan Triumph got on MTV, or they played on the radio, there was a little time, because they weren't really mainstream music per se, but they were on the radio playing on like my local station. And it was like the first time I heard it, like, introducing, oh no, that's another, it was you ain't gonna see me. I think it was right after he died, so it was just kind of like, what? And I remember we pulled over. I didn't pull over, but my friend, he pulled over he's driving his mom's van back when vans were a thing. He pulled over, and then we just sat there listening to I bomb atomically, Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses, can't describe it how I be dropping these mockeries, lyrically performed on robberies, flee with the lottery, possibly they spotted me, bottle scar, shogun explosion where my pen hits tremendous, ultraviolet light blinds forensics. And we just marveled in the fact that I know it like that. That's my go-to verse. And then as the world turned, I spread like germ. Best of work. I mean, there's like maybe two people I really don't care to hear, but like another song that hit me. Let's see here. Uchi Wally Wally. Like wow. Sexy Back, when that first came out, it was so, I don't know, different. Yeah. Clips Grinding, that sparse drum beat that's just, I mean, I was more hating, like, there's nothing there. What's another one? Rakim's, I mean, he's dropped or something, but the 18th letter, I think it was more the beat than God emceeing, but that resonated with me. Ether, when that dropped, fuck Jay-Z. Cause I like Jay-Z. Like, who's this guy telling? I know I can. So anyway, But it's not every song. But Beach Boys and that era, I think those resonated because they had wars in the background. They had all this shit happening where we collectively are in a different state of mind. Every 3 seconds, we're being pushed to some new talent that's just my opinion. Who am I? Who am I? Remember what? Oh, I can go on and on. But anyway, moving on. I just realized that one of my biggest pet peeves for people is not being accountable to your actions. That shit drives me crazy. You see, so the whole thing I was talking about with the mortgage and my dad, and so yesterday I'm like, so you mean to tell me that someone made a mistake and I'm not even going to get the benefit of hearing that? Let's go this way. The benefit of that they're wrong. Because all they do is be like, it's not my fault, and they push it to someone else. And I'm just like, where I come from, we don't push off our, and I sound stupid, but I'm like, I just hate. I'm sorry, I'm not in the light, but here, I'm in the light, and now I'm not in the light. Don't you love how light works? Ooh. But yeah, like people, you're talking to someone and they be like giving you so many damn excuses about why they didn't do this, that, and the third. I'm happy. I'm not happy, but I can accept I didn't do it because I didn't feel like it. Okay. Because that lets me know not to ever put or give or expect you to do shit. You be like, nah, that's you. Own it. But people who, well, this happened because this happened. That shit just, like I was talking to someone, and every time they would do something, they'd be like, well, and they got all this. At no point, like, I'm sorry. I will try. Because I don't expect anyone to do a 180 overnight. You know, if you are how you are, that's how you are going to be. It's going to take time and training to reverse years and years of who you is. And I'm okay with that. We're going to slip like if you were an alcoholic. Most likely you couldn't just go cold turkey. You would slip and you have to do this. But the people I be talking to, like, I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to do it. And then they do it again. Well, I'm not perfect. Like, oh, that shit. Oh. But I'm learning that, you know, it is what it is. And but yeah. We got to. All right, we're going to go cut down because there's some more trees that fell. Like these things you would think would be falling because they just young. They ain't been around long enough to know how to. But no, it'd be them old trees. Like they just be giving up. Yesterday I went out to the open mic, and usually when time lapses between going to the open mic, you know, I go in there as a stranger, I get up on the mic, and then someone's like, oh, I remember you. You were here before. Have I seen you before? But this time I walk into the thing and she knew who I was, and she gave me a fist bump. Boop, boop. And she's like, the sign-up sheet's over there. Like, I'm just here to watch, because I got to get out of my house, you know. I mean, I put this at the end, but I was in a relationship 4 months going on, and it was cool, you know, whatever. And it kind of is towards the end. So the beginning phase, the honeymoon phase, and now the end phase. And you know, one remedy to alleviate the pain is to go out. So I went out just not to perform, although I wanted to perform once I got there, but I didn't have anything on deck. Gotcha. I don't want to do the songs I've been doing for the past 20 years, 15 years. I want to do some new shit. I was in the studio the other day working on some new shit. And one of the songs I was trying a new way of writing. So going to the studio and just making noise and then playing it back later. But it was saying like, I don't know you and you don't know me. It's like, you don't know me and I don't know you, so I wrote this song so I could introduce. That sounds like old school, but it was more new school sounding. Or it's summertime, like, cause it's summertime. But yeah, relationship, 4 months. It was. I won't go into details because you know how relationships be. But yeah, I'm kind of. I guess the situation is kind of like this. Being 43, I'm 43. Single. Never divorced, never married, have no kids. Have a job, never been arrested. Have all my natural teeth. I'm bald. And I got my little tummy. I work hard. I'm a teacher. I got 2 degrees. So those are my stats. They're not good, they're not bad, they just are what they are. But then to find someone that could match the stats, that part's what's killing me. Because what I'm finding is no degrees. Not that everyone has to have a degree. 10 kids. I ain't met nobody with 10 kids. But they got some kids. They've been divorced 2 times. Healthy. I won't say I'm like the healthiest man alive. I can't run a marathon. But, I've been walking and talking this whole time. I ain't out of breath. When I was in Japan, I did climb Mount Fuji twice. I didn't train for it. I just did it. I don't necessarily eat healthy. People always tell you that, but I don't. But I do have bottled water. I don't like water, but I drink it. Like, I'm meeting people that these things, and it's really frustrating because on the one hand, you're not supposed to settle, right? You can't settle. But on the other hand, would it be? When I was in Japan, my friend, I don't have a lot of friends, so when I say my friend, or my sister, I met my a friend of mine said, he's like, I don't have friends, I only got family, which that resonated. It was kind of cool. But so here's some more trees that just fell. This boy's taking one. Where's he taking it? But that's what I came for. You see this? It's just like just falling. See the tree? I just lost my train of thought. Or did I? So my friend, she would say she wants a guy who's 6 foot tall. 6 feet tall. And he has a 6-pack. And he gets 6 figures. And he has a 6-inch dick. And it was funny. But that's what she wanted. I don't know if she ever found that guy. But it just kind of knocked me out of anyone who looked like me. Because I am not any of those things. But it's unrealistic. Or was it? Do you hyper focus on what you want and you go for that and eventually get it? Or you got to settle? So since I've been home, I don't expect to find, ideally, what I would want. Here's my perfect mate. They're the same age as me, plus 2 or minus 2. They don't have kids, never been married. Lived abroad for a couple of years, 10 years. They got 2 degrees, and they're interested in getting other ones. They read books. They actually got a book on deck. They work out, but they're not like, they just do something, aerobics or walking or something. They, now at this point, so basically they're me, but they're female. But at this point, they got money. They're trust fund kids, or they figured out their business model or something, because the biggest investor I think will come from someone who is dating me. Because I can't get anyone to buy in on anything I do that isn't dating me. Like, I tell someone, oh yeah, I got this wonderful idea that we can use music to educate the urban kids. And they'd be like, oh, that's a great idea. But they ain't trying to invest. But if I tell my girlfriend, like, oh, what you need, baby? I believe in you. Nah, I don't want to say it. It goes both ways. But, you know, someone ride or die, they're with me before and they're with me after, like those Hollywood. They were together since the beginning. But, you know, someone who speaks eloquently. I don't want no ebonics. Someone who has a car. Someone who doesn't drive the bus. There's a bus right there. I mean, I got nothing wrong with the bus because I was on the bus, but it's just different. But then at the same time, they can't be so far to the other extreme, because then it won't work either. So someone who's like making $1 billion and they wouldn't know my struggle. But it's been really hard since I've been home, because where would I find said, so I saw this infomercial and the guy was like, where do you find people who buy Rolls Royce? And some lady's like, at the polo shop? It's like, no. Like, where you find them at are when they are introducing the new private jets, or the new yachts. That's where they're at. How many of you have been invited to the viewing opening of the new private jets? No one raised their hand. He's like, yeah, I know. Like, we never see ads. You ain't ads are targeted, but we're not going to see too many Rolls Royce ads popping up on our feed right here. And then he was just like, when you go into what car did he use? I want to say he said a Ferrari. Did he say Ferrari? Maserati? Pick any car. He's like, when you go into a Ferrari, you'll never hear, or if you go into a Ferrari, you won't hear someone go in there like, oh, it's too expensive, because they don't go in there. Because then, I guess the full thing, he said, if someone goes into the Maserati shop or whatever, and he's like, wow, this car is more expensive than a Toyota. He's like, then go to the Toyota shop. Why are you here? I don't need your business. Because the guy who's buying the car, he got the money to buy it. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just perusing. But yeah. So, bring this back to my situation. So, how do I find the person for me? Because the dating sites do not work for me, because in general, I could be wrong, but it's just what's been happening. Oh, wow. The guy who stole the branch, thank you, he found a buddy. Can you see him down there? Running with his buddy? Look at that. I want someone to just, like, anyway, so, yeah, so I maybe you guys could help me out. Because, like, one day I want to be walking down the street and I see someone on their phone talking about, and as we pass each other's paths, we can hear each other's conversation, and we look back and be like, oh my gosh. Oh, the tree guy is coming this way. But yeah, I'm good. Tree guy just hit me with his tree. He's on some Rocky shit. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, man. But yeah, man, I think I got everything on my chest. I mean, there's more, but well, we had 50 minutes. I was walking with someone 5-6 months ago. We're walking back and forth, and then they start complaining that they're tired. Like, you see how I walk? I don't walk that fast. Like, turn off for me. But anyway, as always, thank you guys for listening. Be safe. If you see it, you see it, and if you don't, then you don't. All right, rhyming.